Kayak Bassin is brought to you by Wilderness Systems, makers of the premier fishing kayaks, including the Attack, Ride Max, and Thresher models. For more information about our full lineup of kayaks, visit wildernesssystems.com.
This week on Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin, Chad Hoover's headed to the remote wilds of northern Saskatchewan, Canada, to Minor Bay Lodge, home of some of the world's biggest northern pike. Along for the ride is fellow wilderness pro Chris LeMessurier and Chad's son Austin Hoover.
One of the coolest things about getting here is even though we're so far north and so remote, the travel was actually really easy. First, we flew from our hometown of Nashville up to St. Paul, Minneapolis, changed flights and flew up to Saskatoon. We spent the night at a great hotel at the Saskatoon Inn. The shuttle picked us up from Minor Bay Lodge and met us the next morning to drop off all of our gear, took care of all of our luggage. We then motored over and took a 1.5 hour flight up, where we were met by a school bus shuttle that took us the rest of the way to the lodge.
After arriving at Minor Bay Lodge, it's time to rig up the kayaks.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up this Wilderness Systems Ride 115X, where it's got some additional mounting options. And the way we're accomplishing that is we're using the 4-inch gear track available from Kayak Setup. The cool thing about this track is it's got a wide base. It's easy to install, so you can even do it when you're on the road like we are here. And the great thing about it is it's super stable for pretty much any mount you wanna put on there. So I'm just gonna simply center this thing up. Nothing fancy. It comes with a pilot bit that I've already installed in our drill here. All right, so we've drilled our first pilot hole, but the thing that makes these Kayak Setup tracks so cool is they stall with these really small self-tappers. So we're just gonna put them in there, make sure you're on a low torque setting so you don't strip the hole out. You just pop that first screw in. You always wanna pop that first screw in, even if it takes a little extra time changing the bit out, because your next holes need to be aligned, and it never works when you drill all 4 holes at once. So throw your first screw in there, then drill the rest of your holes and you can install the rest of the hardware. The trick is to put in each of these screws before you tighten any of them fully, and then tighten them like you tighten the lug nuts on a truck. So just go back and forth and snug them down. All right, so there it is, a quick and easy installation of the 4-inch gear tracks available from Kayak Setup. Now the gear tracks come in several models and they come in several styles and a lot of different length selection, as well as the color tracks with the GTSL Spectralite track. So check out yaksetup.us for more of those selections. But look, Austin's kayak is now set up and ready. We can switch out rod holders. We can go from the Ram tube style rod holders, the 2008 or the 119 if you're looking for the part number. We can use the installed gear tracks on this Ride X for the Kayak Setup panfish, so he can set up his GoPro to share all these big catches we're going to make with his buddies back home. So the cool thing about these Kayak Setup tracks is it allows you to customize a boat that already has some stuff on there, or boats that come without any gear tracks allows you to add them to the kayak after the fact. So we're ready to now go catch some big old gator pike here in Minor Bay Lodge, northern Saskatchewan. Oh yeah. Was there any doubt there was gonna be one on that point? I mean, was there any doubt? Look, right out of the freaking gate, we're smashing these big pike. And here's the deal. We're catching them on topwater, we're catching them on spoons, we're catching them on spinners. And the biggest thing about it was, even though the biggest fish we caught the first day was like 38, 39 inches, and I know you're saying, even though, hey, there were big monster pike swimming all around us. And even the hammer handles here are fat, because with 16 hours of daylight a day, 18 hours of daylight a day, there's periods when the fish go inactive. But even when you're not catching them, you can see them, and that keeps you pumped up and excited and just built up anticipation for the time that monster inhales your lure. So just as Chris hooks up and the camera goes over to work this fish, I make this cast. This thing has towed me up and down this flat like 3 times. This is definitely the biggest one I've hooked yet. Wow. Let's get this spinner out of its mouth. That was awesome. You know what? I get to fish some awesome places. I get to do some cool stuff. That was ridiculous. And especially ridiculous to get to share it with my son and a really good friend of mine, Chris LeMeasure, fellow Wilderness Systems pro staffer. Everybody that sees this footage is gonna be envious. Guess what? You should be. So just come on up to Minor Bay Lodge and get you some of this ridiculous topwater pike action. Now we're gonna catch one about 57 inches, 100 pounds, something like that. 100 pounds, Aaron? 100 pounds. For outstanding customer service, expert advice, and an extensive selection of quality kayak fishing products, visit Hook One at kayakfishinggear.com.